Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Ask Jimmy Smith. Today, I'm excited. This is a big video to be able to go through. I'm excited for this one because this is all about the framework for how you can go from $0 of sales on Amazon.com to over $1 million per year selling on Amazon.com or any other Amazon platform. I've had plenty of successful international students as well. And in fact, this is the framework that I use for building out the course that I did that's had over 1,000 success stories, and the book as well, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income, which I'm sure you've heard me mention in the past. This is the second and expanded edition, but we've had over 1,000 success stories because of this framework. And so I'm really excited to be able to bring this to you today. And you can actually see over 500 of those success stories if you want to at askjimmysmith.com/success. So, I'm not making this up. I'm not lying about this. Plenty of success stories that you can go check out at that askjimmysmith.com/success. But this is going to be a little bit of a beast of one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a longer YouTube video. We'll find out, I guess, at the end. But I've got a PowerPoint presentation for you because I want to take you through the stages that we went through in growing our Amazon business from zero to over $1 million per year and using the replens arbitrage strategy. Now, I'm not necessarily going to go through how to find the replens and how to analyze Keepa. I've done other videos like that on this channel, and I've also discussed it. I'll actually link one towards the end, but it's how to go from $0 to $10,000 per month, or how to make your first $10,000 per month on Amazon video, where I actually break down what a replen is, how to read the Keepa charts, and how to make sure that you're finding profitable inventory. I talk about on this channel and different videos, hybrid arbitrage strategies, and all these other things. So you can find the other information on this channel, or you can check out any of the other things I've done as well. But this is the video where I'm going to go through the framework. Why did we break down the course this way? Why did we do the book this way? Because when we looked back on our business, we saw that there were big stages that we went through to ultimately get to that $100,000 per month selling level. And so there were about 4 to 5 different stages we went through, and I'm going to go through each of them for you today and what it takes to get there in terms of the different things you're going to have to focus on while you're building up to that point. So without further ado, let's go ahead, get into the presentation now. Actually, before I do that, if you have any questions, because I know this is going to be a heavy video, post them in the comments below. Post your questions. I do read them. I do respond to them. And I love to get your feedback as well. And if you find this video valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. If the button's red below, it means you haven't subscribed. So once you click that, you'll be notified of any new videos that I put out. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so as you can see, this is the PowerPoint presentation. And again, I apologize if it's death by PowerPoint, but I don't know how else to really go through this. I could just talk at you, but I think for most people, it's a lot better to be able to see the PowerPoint, take some notes if you want to. And basically what I want you to be able to see is that it is possible to go from $0 per month on Amazon to over $1 million a year, or over $100,000 per month on Amazon with the arbitrage strategy, and how you can consistently do that as well. So if you've seen any of my other replens videos, you know what those are. If not, watch this video, check out the other videos on my channel, and you'll find out a lot more information on how you can start making money doing this replens arbitrage strategy. Now, I want to give you, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to give you those links. We've had over 1,000 different success stories that have come through either the course or the book combined, and they keep coming in every day. And again, as I said, you can see over 500 of them at askjimmysmith.com/success. If you just want to check them out, make sure I'm legit, make sure I'm not lying to you, please head over there. It took me forever to put them. I'd put more on there, but the server can't handle it on that one web page without crashing every time I try to add more. So I think it's 525 if I remember right, but that's the link that you can go follow or check that out at. Now, I wanted to cover some Amazon arbitrage myths before we go through this, because if you've ever looked at Amazon arbitrage, you've looked at Amazon businesses, I believe that there are some myths out there that need to be covered before we get into this framework. And the reason is because I don't want you to come into this with some wrong idea about what arbitrage is, or the potential even for success with this business, because we've proven it out to see so many success stories. We haven't had over 1,000 people get to over $1 million a year. We've had over 1,000 success stories. You can take this information and say, I want to have a side hustle. I want to grow to $10,000 per month, or I want to grow to $50,000 per month, or maybe you want a full-time income and you're going to say, I want $100,000 plus per month. Either way, we've had every different type of success story come through, and I want to make sure that we address these myths before we continue. So the first one is that Amazon arbitrage is dead. Now, I started selling in December of 2015, and I heard in December of 2015 that Amazon arbitrage was dead, that it was no good, that it was not a good business model to get into. So clearly that has been wrong for 6.5 years at the time I'm recording this video, and it is still wrong today. The opportunity continues to grow, and I've actually done videos on this very topic in this channel. So please check out those videos if you're interested in why I say that actually the opportunity is continuing to grow and will continue to grow. There might be some extra hurdles than there were 6.5 years ago, but the opportunity continues to grow. And we see that play out in our business and other people's businesses and just in the marketplace as a whole. The next myth, that there's too many sellers. And this is one of the things I go through. This is one of the reasons people say arbitrage is dead, specifically Amazon arbitrage is dead. And the reason, I mean, I understand it. There are going to be listings where you're going to find that there's way too many sellers on this listing, and it's a waste of time for you to even try, because you're just going to be, you know, competing against price at that point. And it's never going to go well. But with so many new sellers, there's also way more opportunity because there's way more customers as well. And we have seen that over the last few years due to the pandemic that hit. There are way more people that are adopting the Amazon platform for buying everything. And so even though there are more sellers, there's also more listings for you to list on and more opportunity for you to grow in. And also other businesses, other brands know that Amazon is even more serious and continues to become more serious. So you have more opportunities to grow beyond the arbitrage model into wholesale, or maybe even some sort of private label or an exclusive partnership with them. So there's not too many sellers. No matter what people say, we have continued to sell and do this model, even though we've had so many people go through our program, and the business continues to do well in spite of the extra sellers. Too many headaches. I've heard that. And you're going to have businesses with headaches no matter what you do, whether you own an auto body shop, or you run an eBay business or a drop shipping business or an Amazon business. Whatever you do, there's going to be headaches. So I've heard people say this, that it's just too much of a pain. Any business, specifically this one, it's a simple business model. In fact, I think it's the lowest hanging fruit out there for people to go and find products and sell them on Amazon with very little risk. And it doesn't take very long to get going. But there are going to be headaches that come. And that's going to happen no matter what business that you end up looking at. And so to me, there aren't too many headaches. It's just going to happen with any business model. Amazon doesn't support sellers. This is one that I've heard for a while, and I can see the arguments for that, but they continually add more infrastructure, they continually add more employees, and they continually invest in different things to help sellers. So it's pretty easy to refute this. Yes, Amazon supports their customers first, not their sellers first, which can be a pain, but ultimately, they do support sellers, and they have opened up a lot more things over the last few years to help their sellers be successful on the platform, to make sure that ultimately, not only are they successful, but they're able to get help when they need it. So they do support their sellers, maybe not as much as I'd like, but it's not that big of a problem. So if you're out there searching the interwebs, looking at different Amazon businesses, and you see this as a problem, it can be a headache, but there are millions of sellers, I believe, on Amazon's platform. And ultimately, we're all doing just fine, even though the support may not always be the top of what we'd like. They still do support sellers. So the next one, you can't make any money. I've heard this, that essentially falls in line with the Amazon arbitrage is dead, but I've heard people say you can't make any money on arbitrage, and that's just blatantly false. We've seen the success stories, and that's why I give you that link multiple times, because I want you to see that you can make money doing this, and I think that that's answered just strictly by that link that I gave you earlier. Private label is the only way to go. I've heard this too, that, hey, if you're getting on Amazon, just do private label. I actually just released a video recently that talks about the private label myths. And there are so many different issues with private label. If you're a brand new seller, like you typically have to have much higher volume of order. You have to put out a lot more money. You've got to invest in ads. You've got to learn the whole entire system, plus how to get customers, plus how to follow up with customers. Plus you're trying to make your best decision based off products that you don't even know will sell yet. So for me, as a new seller, private label is the worst way to start as a new seller, unless you have an existing customer base, just excited to sell your or buy your products. So that's the only exception. But to me, private label is the worst way to go as a brand new seller. Now, you do eventually want to graduate into that. We do private label products, we do wholesale products, but eventually private label will be the way to go. But you can learn the model, you can learn the platform utilizing Amazon Arbitrage. And that's the way that I believe every seller should start out. Wholesale is the only way to go. You see courses for private label, you see courses for wholesale. I've got a course for arbitrage. Naturally, I'm a little biased. Wholesale is an excellent model, and I actually think that it continues to be my favorite business model for growth, for scalability, for the potential to sell it in the future. But it is not the best way to start, and it is not the only way to go. I think the best wholesale and private label sellers are typically starting off as arbitrage sellers, because they learn the platform, because they learn what sells, even though it doesn't look like it might sell, because you can go through all of these different trainings and see success, and then you can pivot to wholesale and pivot to private label. There's so much opportunity there in both of those models, but it's not the only way to go, and they are not the best way to start as a new seller, because you want to learn the platform. You want to have lower risk as you're buying products, buying your inventory. You want to make sure that you are doing your absolute best to ultimately find products that are selling, test out maybe 2 or 3 of them for $3 a piece, $5 a piece, and you can send in a bunch of different products, and then you'll see that they sell. It's just such a beautiful model if you start with the arbitrage side of things. And then, as you'll see, you can graduate into wholesale and private label as your business grows. You can't scale this business. I've heard that you can't scale an arbitrage business in the past, and it's a lot more difficult to scale an arbitrage business if you're doing clearance products, if you're just going out, finding the best deals and trying to grow it from there. People can do it. I know plenty of people that do that, but utilizing this replens model, which I've taught before, especially in that video, how to make your first $10,000 on Amazon, through the course, through the book, using the replens model, it is a proven method that you can use that model to grow and scale an Amazon business through the replens arbitrage strategy. That's the best way to scale an arbitrage business, in my opinion, because you're buying products that you will continue to buy. You don't need to go out and find deals every week. You can go out and find new products, but then you can continue to grow and stack on your existing replens and products that are already in your inventory. So you can scale this business, absolutely, especially with the replens arbitrage model. Now, I'm going to go quickly through my story by the numbers, because there's a lot of bullet points on this, but I want you to see a couple of things. First and foremost, we started in December 2015. From there, in June of 2017, so a year and a half later, we were at $8,587. We joined a group called the Legends Group, the Business Building Legends Group, which I actually have a free trial or a $1 trial at bit.ly/legends trial for anybody interested. But we started in that Legends Group, and we learned about what replenishable products were from a guy named Danny Stock, and he taught us how to find these products. And that's when we started to, okay, let's switch to this replenishable model. And then we were able to grow and scale it from there, and then teach other people how to scale this model. And so that's the basis for the course in the book. Now, in August of 2017, after we went from $8,500 in June, 2 months later, we hit $14,000 in August of 2017. And then in October, we hit $25,000. So we really took replens and started to grow and scale it from there, and just put in a ton of effort. In March of 2018, I had quit my job a month earlier. We were actually at $19,327. We were a little bit lower in March of 2018. But in May of 2018, we saw that at 21,743, we weren't growing. I had quit my job a few months earlier. We weren't growing. So we realized we can't do this by ourselves, and we needed to add in employees or outsource different tasks so that then we could grow it and scale it. And that's where the power of this comes. That's where the framework comes for the book and the course. That's why there's a course, is because of what you're going to see after this. So in July of 2018, we had hired employees. So the first part of July, and at the end of that month, we did $39,124. We hired employees and leased a warehouse for prep and ship. You don't have to do that. You can use a prep center. You can do a whole bunch of different things. You can have separate teams that are almost like little franchises. We chose to go in this route though. And you can see that the sales grew from there. In August of 2018, just 1 month later, after our employees were fully trained, and it was just 2 prep people, and I believe in August we ended up hiring somebody else as well for like an assistant and shopper, etc. But we went from $39,000 to $73,000 in a 1 month growth span, which is insane. And from there in March 2019, so later, I skipped Q4 because I didn't really want to, skew the numbers here, because we broke $100,000 in Q4 as well. But in March 2019, we hit $92,932 per month. And in April, the next month, we had $103,700. So it took us a year and a half from the June point of 8,500, June 2017, took us a year and a half to go from there to over $103,000 in sales. And so the reason I say that is, even though we started in December 2015, we didn't start replens until June of 2017. And it was pretty crazy growth from there. And really what helped us the most was taking our replens, outsourcing the work, and then scaling it from there to grow it to over $103,000 in that 1 month. Now, you might say, well, that's could be a fluke. Well, we continued to grow and scale and iterate and add different systems in, and we trained people how to do this as well. And in May of 2020, we had over $190,000 in sales. So a year later, it continued to grow, is what I'm trying to show you. And we continued to have very high months, 6-figure months. So it's just where we've gone with our business. It's continued to stay consistent for us. Now, that's our first month that we broke over 100,000 outside Q4, just so you can see that. That was the April 2019 picture. Pretty cool for us. And so I always keep that in here. Now that you see that that's the opportunity and what we did, I'm going to talk quickly about retail versus online versus hybrid arbitrage, which I've done a video on this channel for what hybrid arbitrage is as well. So what is arbitrage? I'll give you this real quick. It's the simultaneous purchase and sale of the same asset in different markets in order to profit from tiny differences in the asset's listed price. So essentially, you can do this with stocks, you can do this with bonds, you can do this with a whole bunch of different stuff. I think you can do it with bonds. Maybe you can't do it with bonds. You do it with stocks, you can do it with crypto, you can do it with a bunch of different things, but you can also do this with Amazon and physical products. You can do it on eBay. You can do it on Walmart.com. You can do a bunch of different things, but we choose the Amazon platform. So basically, you're buying items at a lower price and selling them at a higher price. That's the basics of this model. Retail arbitrage is simply buying those items in a physical store and then selling them on Amazon. Online arbitrage is buying those items online and then selling them on Amazon. Hybrid arbitrage is buying those things online from a local store that's delivered to you. So it's kind of a hybrid of, we're using a local store, but we're also buying them online. So it's a hybrid between the two. So I call that hybrid arbitrage. And now they're all similar methods. They can all help you to build a business with any of them. So you can build a business with any of these. I've seen people do it with retail arbitrage. Absolutely. I've seen people do it with online arbitrage. Absolutely. And solely. Hybrid arbitrage is a little bit of a newer concept because of the apps like Instacart and Shipt and DoorDash that are out there. But I did a video on that for you to check out if you're interested as well, on how I found products doing this. All right. Now, selling replens. So this is the difference between regular arbitrage. Let me go back. So arbitrage could be clearance deals. It can just be buying something that's typically $15. It's on clearance for $5, and I'm going to sell it on Amazon for $15. That's totally doable. But replens are items that you can sell over and over. They are not items that you are necessarily as a purchaser going to buy over and over. So maybe I sell you a hammer and somebody else a hammer and someone else a hammer, but you specifically aren't buying a hammer once a month, right? So we're looking for things that we as sellers are selling continually. They are replenishable, which is why we call them replens. Now, I did have this video, how to make your first $10,000 as an Amazon seller, on this channel. You can check that out, where I go through some of the basics of finding replens and how you can do that. They are very basic, but it does give you a good idea of how to read Keepa charts and so much. As I mentioned earlier, I've got a book and a course, and I'll give you links and stuff for that at the end. It's also linked in the description for you. But ultimately, you can find out information for this. Again, this video is basically just for the framework of how to go from $0 to $1 million per year selling on Amazon. So I didn't go through the specifics of finding the products in this video, but you can find that on a separate one. But I do highly recommend watching this whole thing so you can see what are the stages that I'm going to be going through. What are the things that I'm hoping to aspire to? So there are 3 different themes in every stage. So one is you need to have the right mindset. You need to make sure that you're going in saying, hey, I know that this business model may be simple, but it's not easy. It's going to take me a while. I'm going to have failures. I'm not just going to find a product within the first 5 minutes. Maybe it'll take me a few days to find that first product. But you need to have the right mindset. And if you don't, that's where you can easily fail. This is where I see the biggest issues with people that end up giving up. It's because they gave up, right? They needed to have the mindset that they won't give up, that this is the business model. As we've seen with over 1,000 success stories, this is the business model that does work and will work for them. Now, if you don't like it, that's different. You can stop because you don't like it. But if you do like it and you're trying and you're pushing forward, you need to make sure you have the right mindset to be successful. You need to have a work ethic. Again, simple, not easy. This does require work. It requires physical labor. If you're going to a store physically, retail arbitrage, and you're standing in the store, you need to be able to prep products then. Or maybe it doesn't require as much physical labor, but it requires a lot of sitting in front of a computer if you're doing online arbitrage and you're sending it to a prep center. So it does require some work. And then cash flow. You need to be able to monitor your cash flow in each stage. And I go through that in the next few stages of what you're thinking of, what you need to think of from a cash flow perspective. When you're starting out, most people have less cash flow to work with. So they start out with maybe $100 or 500 or 1,000. But then as you get into the later stages, sometimes you have too much cash flow and you can't find enough products. So what do you do then? All right, so the first stage is $0 to $10,000. This is the stage that I call kind of the grind. This is the one where you're learning. This is probably the most key of all of them because you're forming the foundation for your business. So 0 to 10,000 is stage 1. Now, as I said, you need mindset, work ethic, and then cash flow. You need to go for higher profit and higher return on investment, or ROI, replens. Also typically faster moving inventory, because you want your capital to grow much faster in this stage so that then you can continue to snowball it, so to speak, right? If you've got higher profit and instead of a 40% return on investment, you're making 100% return on investment, well, your capital is going to grow then, which allows you to grow and scale it in different ways. Also, faster moving inventory allows you to get that money back much quicker, so that then you can invest it into other inventory as well. So that's what you want to focus on from a cash flow perspective in the very first stage. Now, the next thing is learning Keepa. I've done some videos on this channel. I've actually got a playlist for Keepa on my YouTube channel. If you're interested there, I do talk about some of the higher level stuff so that you can go through and kind of learn the basics of Keepa. This is going to be very important. This is the one key software that you need to know to be successful in this business. You need to learn how to find replens. That's what you're going to be doing from 0 to 10,000, is learning how to find these things. What are these things? What do I search? Do I scan UPC barcodes? Hint, you do not scan UPC barcodes. What am I searching into the Amazon search bar or in the Amazon seller app? What is it that I'm doing to find replens? You're going to be learning in this stage how to do that. Additionally, you're going to be adding replens, and I have what I call 30 replens in 30 days. And that's what you're going to be trying to do, is aiming for at least 30 replens in 30 days. This is the foundation of what I use for the math as we move forward. If you're finding 1 replen a day, how long will it take you to hit these numbers, kind of a thing. And so that is going to be important. You can find 60 in 30 days. You can find 30 in a day, which I've done multiple times. But the goal for most of you that maybe have jobs and families and limited capital, you want to try to find at least 1 a day for 30 days. And I personally, obviously, the more that you could find, the better. But this is what I'm going to use as the basis for the math moving forward, so you can see how long it can take you to get to whatever level you're hoping to get to if you're just finding 1 a day. Now, this is where it gets a little mathy, and I apologize, but our averages. So a $15 average selling price, that's our typical selling price for our products. we average 10 sales per month per replen. So some replens sell twice a month. Some of them may sell 100 or more a month, but we average 10 per month per replen. So as I said, some are 30 plus, some are 2. Our return on investment is around 70%. So it helps us to figure out how much money we're going to end up making. That's our average. Even to this day, with over $100,000 in business per month, we average around 70% ROI, which means for every $10 that we spend, we're making 7 of profit, by the way, if it's 70%. We will go down to 25% on fast moving inventory, but typically I recommend if you've got limited capital, you want your minimum to be 40 or 50% return on investment. So for every 10 bucks you're spending, you're making $4 to $5 in profit as a minimum is what you want. Now, when we started, 40% was our minimum, as I said. Now here's the math. So at a $15 average selling price, so $10,000 divided by $15 is 667 sales per month. If you average 10 sales per month per replen, you take 667 divided by the 10 means you need 67 replens to get to $10,000 a month if you hit those averages that I just talked about, right? It's not going to be the same for everyone, right? If your average selling price is 10 bucks, we're going to need more. If your average amount of sales is 5 times per month, well, then you're going to need more. But if you have an average selling price of 25 or an average sales per month of 20, then you're going to need less. So this is just our averages so you can see how doable this is. Now, with 67 replens, that means it's going to be 2 to 3 months until you can hit that amount. If you have the capital to buy enough inventory and you're finding 30 replens per month, 30 replens in 30 days that sell with that same velocity. So it doesn't take long to hit this point. Now, the next stage is 10,000 to 40,000. And in this stage, again, you need mindset, you need work ethic. But from a cash flow perspective, you want to keep the sales velocity, the profit, and your return on investment higher still, because you're trying to grow the amount of capital that you have to reinvest into your business. The longer you can go reinvesting into your business versus taking money out, the better. But you can reinvest that into the business, and then you can grow your capital from there so that then you can fund all the things that are coming in the next few stages. Replen management. In this stage, typically, you're going to need to start managing your replens better, knowing what you need to purchase, how many you need to purchase, because as you get over 100 SKUs, active SKUs in your business, you're going to end up needing something to tell you or help you figure out how much you need to buy of that replen so you can continue to buy the right amount. So I recommend replendashboard.com. Full disclosure, I own the company, or I'm a part owner in the company, but replendashboard.com is the best at doing that. We only created it because there wasn't anything else to help us replen sellers and arbitrage sellers. So I highly recommend checking that out. There's a 30-day free trial. You don't even have to put in your credit card at the time of this recording anyway, unless that ever changes in the future. I doubt it. But 30-day free trial, you don't even have to add credit card. You can just check it out. Tons of training videos. I actually have a whole playlist on this channel too about it as well. But there's going to be lots of packing and shipping here. That's the hardest part for us, was the packing and shipping. We just didn't like it that much, which is why it was the first thing we outsourced. But you will be packing and shipping a lot. You will be shopping a lot in this stage, but it's a really good stage to get into because this is the beginning of right before when you're going to start really outsourcing a bunch of things. And it is a constant grind. This is one that's a lot of work. This is where you really need a high work ethic because you're going to basically be doing everything. And it's a good sized business at this point, and you're going to need to eventually be outsourcing this stuff. And again, as I mentioned things later, maybe you can outsource it at that level, that stage, but you can also outsource those things earlier if your capital allows for it or if you need it. So don't think that these are rigid. These are just what we experienced in our own personal business. Now the $40,000 math, I'm going to fly through this a little bit. $15 average selling price still. That means 2,667 sales per month. I know that sounds like a ton because it is a lot, but to get to 40K per month, which is $480,000 a year of business, at $15 average selling price, at a 10 sales per month per replen, that's 267 replens. Might sound like a lot. It is a lot of replens. It takes a lot of work. But if you're finding 30 replens per month, 30 replens in 30 days, it takes you 10 months to get to the point where you should be around selling $40,000. Again, it can be faster, it can be slower, depending on the capital that you have, the quality of your replens, if you're hitting those averages. But if you do hit the averages that we hit, it would take you around 10 months until you're seeing about $40,000 per month in sales at those levels. So pretty encouraging. Now, I just wanted to point out that obviously this is a very difficult stage. This is when we decided to outsource. We were stuck in this stage for a while. As you saw earlier with our story, we were stuck in this stage between about 10 to 20, $30,000 a month for a good long while until we decided to outsource and grow. And so that's what really became the importance of what we did to grow over $100,000 per month. Now, 40 to 70K is stage 3. This is the next stage. This is my favorite one. It's as you'll see, it's the fastest growth. As actually you saw, before I get to that, you saw we went from July of $39,000 in the month of July when we hired employees to $70,000+ in August after they were fully trained, because we freed up our time from prep and ship to be able to shop as much as we wanted. And we loved the shopping portion. So we were able to just drop everything off to them and have them send it in. It was a beautiful model. And it went very fast. Now, not everybody will go that fast. As you'll see, I'm going to give you the conservative numbers if you follow our averages, but it is something that can go really fast once you outsource. So mindset, work ethic is important. Obviously, all 3 of these. Cash flow. Now, in this stage, you can start to lower your parameter for your replens. The reason I say that is because you're going to have employees potentially, or you're going to have VAs, you're going to have a prep center, whatever it is. You might want to start lowering your parameter because you've got more cash flow to work with. So let's start, instead of maybe having a requirement of 50% ROI, I'm going to say my minimum is 40%. Or 35%. Our minimum still to this day is 35%. But some people start out saying, I want to have 100% return on investment. For every dollar I spend, I want to make $1 profit. And from there, it's time to start lowering that if you want. It's up to you. That's what we did. We started to lower our parameters a little bit to allow for us to buy more products so our people could send in more products. And because we had more capital to work with, so let's just find more products. Instead of having our money sit there, let's make it work for us at a very high return on investment of 35, 40% anyway. Now, hiring employees for prep and ship. You're going to have to deal with employee issues here if you do decide to hire employees. Again, not everyone wants to or has to do this. You can get a prep center. You can get virtual assistants that will find products for you online. You can have separate teams that maybe run their own franchises. There's so many opportunities, but what we did was we hired employees for prep and ship. And then you've got to deal with some employee issues there. And I cover all of that in the book and in the trainings as well. You're going to want a dedicated space for your prep and ship. We chose to get a warehouse, but you can do this out of your garage. You can do it out of your basement. You can build a barn in the back. You can use a storage facility, depending on the storage facility. You can do whatever, but you're going to want a dedicated space for prep and ship. And the reason is because at this level, 40 to 70K, you're buying and selling a lot of products, and you want to make sure that you're getting this out of your house if that's where it's at, and just freeing up your mind a little bit. It's so important to have your home be your home and have the ability to have a separate space that's your workspace, even if it's at your home, even if it's in your garage. Still, having your home, your living room being your home is important. Having your garage be your workspace is fine, but you want a separate workspace at this point, especially if you're hiring employees. You're going to be building systems. I recommend that you do that earlier, that you start building them in the 10 to 40K stage, but this is where you'll need them because you're going to have employees. And I discuss all of those as well in different videos. Replen management, again, replen dashboard, highly recommend having that. This is going to be even more important in 40 to 70 and as you grow. And then tons of shopping, but hopefully less packing and shipping. If you hire your employees for prep and ship, you will have less packing and shipping to do because other people will be doing it. And so you're going to be using all of that time to shop instead, which is what we did and how we grew so fast. Typically, quickest growth phase is what I see if you follow the things that I outline in the book, in the course, and in these videos on my channel. Now, here's the math. $15 average selling price, 4,667 sales per month. I know it's a lot. Please don't get overwhelmed by it. But at an average of 10 sales per replen per month, that's 467 replens, which means at 30 replens per month, it takes about 16 months from when you started. Now, if you are adding more than that, if you're finding 60 replens a month or maybe 30 in a day, like I've done, then you can do it a little bit faster as well. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to, but you've got the ability to. So I just want you to know that. Again, we went from 39 to 70K in 1 month after we added the prepping and shipping because we were able to buy so many more products because we didn't have to prep them anymore. It was awesome. So 70 to 100K is the next stage. And again, mindset, work ethic, and cash flow. Sometimes you have too much cash in this stage. Sometimes you're like, man, I've got so much capital that's coming through the business. I need to figure out where to spend it. I need to get wholesale accounts. I need to find more replens. I need to do something with this capital so it's not just sitting here. Maybe you can take a little payout, right? You can take some extra profit for yourself in this stage, whatever it is for you. But either way, you're going to have different issues from a cash flow perspective that maybe you didn't have before. Now, we hired employees for shopping in this stage and as an assistant. You can do this earlier. You can do any of these things earlier. This is just when we did it. This was our framework. You're going to definitely need more systems, especially if you have shoppers and an assistant of some sort. Replen management is important in this stage. Prep and ship expansion. So maybe we started, or not maybe, we did start with 2 prep and ship people that we hired, but we ended up growing that to, I think, 6 people, 7 people at one point. We've got 6 at this point. So we did grow it. You're going to have prep and ship expansion because you've got more products to deal with. Or if you're using a prep center, you're going to need to make sure that prep center can handle all the products you're sending. Whatever it is you're using to prep and ship, you're going to need to think about ways to expand it at this level. All right, so let's talk about the math. I'm going to run through that real quick. That's 6,667 sales per month, which means 667 replens that are selling at those averages, which means it's going to take 23 total months with the 30 replens in 30 days. And I said not accounting for drop off because there are going to be some that drop off. And I want you to be clear with that and know that you will have things. It's not like you can find 667 and be done. You've probably lost 400 at that point. So maybe you found 1,000, right? But I just wanted to give you those numbers. And again, keep in mind, and I don't know if this is the next bullet point or not. And remember, it took us a year and a half to go from $0 in replens to over $100,000 per month in replens. I believe it was June of 2017 when we started with the replens side of things, and it was April of 2019 when we actually hit our first $100,000 month outside of Q4. So it took us a year and a half, which is less than 23 months. That's 18 months. So, there's some conservative stuff here. There's some really aggressive stuff here. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Your mileage may vary, but this is the framework, right? I mean, you can see like this can be done. This is the math. This is what people have used to create success stories in their own businesses. It doesn't mean, again, over $100,000 a month for everyone, but not everyone wants employees. Not everyone wants this big of a business. But you can do it. And that's what's important. And we've seen it happen. There are people in my community that have outgrown our business. They sell more than us now because they've used this method. They've grown it. They've iterated it. They've been able to install systems and people into their business that then were able to grow it further. And then they're branching out into other things as well. So it is doable and possible. We went from 30K to 100K in 9 months. Okay, keep that in mind. With non-Q4 sales. So it took us a year and a half to go from 0 replens to 100,000 per month, but it took us 9 months to go from 30,000 in replens to $100,000, which is very fast per month. Again, I want to make sure that that's clear. Now, what do you do after you hit $100,000 per month? I'll quickly cover this. You're going to need mindset, you're going to need work ethic, and you're going to have cash flow issues to deal with. At this point, though, you want to keep growing and managing your replens. You never want to neglect that. Replens are a great stream, a great base, a great thing for you to continue to focus on and grow. However, at this point, you want to start adding other revenue streams. It can be done earlier, but it will slow your RA and OA growth. That was one of the reasons after I quit my job that things didn't change, because I tried to pursue other revenue streams instead of focusing on the business. And once I decided to focus on the business, that's when we had the huge growth. So at this point, once you've got this bolted down, once you've got this really done well and properly, you can add other revenue streams that can slow your RA and OA growth if you do it earlier. At this point, because it's bolted down, you're going to be able to add those streams. And I've talked about 30 streams of income by the time I was 30 in this YouTube channel. I've also talked about 7 different Amazon business models that you can do for revenue streams. And only one of them is physical products anyway, with wholesale, arbitrage, and private label. That's just one. So I didn't count all those as 3. But you can add these revenue streams at that point. You can get a bigger warehouse space if you need it. You can add more employees if you need it. There's so much opportunity at this point. I would personally recommend focusing on wholesale next, because that's kind of the next stair step. And then from there, you could focus on private label some more, but it's up to you, whatever floats your boat, so to speak. All right, so what do you do next? Now that we've covered the framework, now that you've seen it's possible, I do have my course that you can see. It's actually $29 a month because it's in the Proven Amazon course. So if you go to AskJimmySmith.com/sell-on-Amazon, you can check out the course. So you can see I actually broke down each and every stage. That's what I did in the course. And that's why we've seen the success from everyone that's gone through it, or so many people anyway. I guess I shouldn't say everyone, asterisk. Not everyone that's gone through it has been successful, but we've had so much success through that course because I broke down all these stages legitimately. I talk about how to hire employees. I talk about systems. I give systems. I talk about adding a repricer and replan dashboard and all these things. Also, the other thing you can check out is I put this brag, I guess, my best-selling book on Amazon bestseller, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income. I've mentioned it before in other videos. This is your first one. It's right here. It's bright orange. It's hard to miss it. If you look up Side Hustle to Full-Time Income. Also, the link for both of these things are in the description. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that ultimately you can see that this is a huge opportunity, and the opportunity has not changed. Yes, there are ebbs, there are flows, there are different changes within how Amazon works, and maybe different ways to find replens and different things that you have to do. But ultimately, the opportunity has continued to grow. There is a framework that exists for you to go from $0 to $100,000 per month, which is $1.2 million a year if you stay consistently at that 100K per month. Like, there's a framework for you to be able to do this. And we've had so many success stories. So I'm super passionate about making sure that you see this as an opportunity. Within my book, I have a free little jumpstart course and a free audiobook as well. So if you're looking at that, but the full course itself at $29 a month, plus there's dozens of other courses with the Proven Amazon course. It's not just mine. You get a ton of things. I don't even have time to go over that, but check those things out, because they are so important. They are life-changing. I've never seen a better community. I actually have a free Facebook group that you can join that has over 65,000 members in it at the time of this recording. It's going to be more by the time all of you listen to it, but it's a free Facebook group. It's called My Silent Team, and I've got the link in the description as well. And it's the best one out there. It's the one we've been in since December of 2015. And we've kind of grown up to be leaders in this, in the community, but it's the best one out there if you're looking to sell anyway on Amazon, whether it's arbitrage, wholesale, private label, looking to sell books, if you're looking to do whatever it is, KDP, all these other things. That Facebook group, which is free, has tons of great content. Highly recommend checking that out as well. I wish I had put it on the slide, but the link is in the description for you. So please check it out. Please take this seriously. Please ask me questions in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my website, AskJimmySmith.com. You can play around there and see all the things that I've done and are hoping to do next. And yeah, please check out the YouTube channel as well. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and really excited to see what you can do with this information and where you can take this information in your business, in your life. Looking forward to seeing you around either in the communities or whatever else it is. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope that you have a blessed rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.